the goal and the values give you both a direction and some rules. Okay, so the goal gives you the direction, tells you where you're going. The values give you the rule set, right? So I want $1 million, that's my goal. And the rule set is that it must be in alignment with happiness and freedom and peace, something like that. I have no idea what your values might be or if you even want $1 million, but let's just say that's an example, okay? So I now know where I'm going. I'm going to $1 million. That's my destination. That's my target. And my values of whatever I said, I don't remember, happiness, freedom, and peace, are the rules that I'm using to get there. So if there are infinite routes to get there, and if there's a route that's not in alignment with those values, I'm not going to take it because that will not be good. It will not give me what I really want. So I'm going to only take those routes that are in alignment with those values. When I know that, then I can achieve success as long as, and this is the thing, as long as I don't get blocked. So along the way, I'm using a metaphor now of a journey where I have a destination and I have some rules where I say these are the rules that I'm using to determine what routes I'm going to select to get there. I still have many different routes I could select, but I can only take one at a time. So I'm taking some route. Now, as I'm taking that route, I'm likely to encounter some kind of obstacle. If I don't encounter any obstacle, will I get to my destination? Yes. There's no obstacle for you. If you know exactly how to get there and there's nothing that interferes with you getting there, will you get there? The answer to that is yes. But if there are obstacles, guess what? Now you've got obstacles. Now, what are you going to do? Well, you have to resolve the obstacle. So if you don't bring some consciousness to that, then you'll just stay stuck. So you're going to encounter, it's likely that you'll encounter obstacles along the way. Now, in terms of most things in our lives, what do those obstacles look like? Most of those obstacles look like limiting beliefs. So I say, I want $1 million. And I'm going to have $1 million in alignment with my values of happiness, peace, and whatever else I said. Freedom. Okay, so that's what I'm going to achieve. That's my goal. Those are my values. That's how I'm going to get there. Great. And then when I'm contemplating that, a belief comes up and says, well, I'm not good enough for that. Okay, so if I have the belief I'm not good enough for that, am I likely or unlikely to take the necessary steps in order to achieve what I want? Unlikely. So I need to release that limiting belief so that I'm not held back by that obstacle. So in order to achieve any goal that you have, there are likely to be obstacles in the form of limiting beliefs. Now, there can be other obstacles. It's not just limiting beliefs, although in some sense they could all be translated through the lens of limiting beliefs. But in some cases, it's more direct to address them in other ways. But for our purposes today, we'll just talk about them in terms of limiting beliefs. So you have limiting beliefs that are going to come up, whatever it is. It's like, I can't, it's too hard, I'm not good enough. People like me can't succeed. It's impossible because of the economy. This other person will make it impossible. Whatever the reasons are, you got so many of these limiting beliefs that interfere. And if you don't address them and resolve them and release them, then you're going to be held back. This is the way with any of the limiting beliefs. So with limiting beliefs, now people are going to say, well, how do I release limiting beliefs? Well, again, I have, so in the Manifesting Truth program, I teach people extensively on how to do this. I have another program that's specifically focused on this that if you're signed up to my newsletter, we'll be announcing that soon. So it's a process that, in my experience, most people require some repeated exposure to the knowledge in order to really be able to understand it and master it. Not because it's difficult, because it's not, but just because it usually requires some repeated exposure and practice in order to really understand it and master it. So it would be a disservice to you if I was trying to tell you, well, here's the 2 steps and then it's good luck and you can succeed. I mean, you could, But I just want to be clear that if you really are serious about that and you really want to master that, then it's well worth your while to invest uh, some time in really gaining that knowledge and having some guidance with how to use it. So what I will tell you today that will give you enough information that you can start to tease this out on your own is this. So think about what a belief is. So if you have a belief like I'm not good enough, it's one of the most common beliefs. So if you have a belief that says I'm not good enough, how do you know that? And I'll tell you the answer to that. It's because you have a meaning. Okay, so the meaning is represented by those words, I'm not good enough. And then you have some evidence that you use to support that meaning. Because the meaning by itself is just sounds. It's just vibration. It doesn't mean anything really. It's just like if it's not attached to something, it has no real energy or power to it. So it's just meh, 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 meh. But it starts to actually seem like something when it gets associated with some experiences that you've had. Okay, so you have this sound that says, I'm not good enough. And then you have associated that with certain experiences. And in particular, it turns out that it's mostly things that you've seen, heard, and felt. And so you can just think about what are the things that you've seen, heard, and felt that to you mean I'm not good enough, or whatever the belief is. And then just ask yourself, how do you know that those things really mean that? Right? So you've seen things, you've heard things, and you've felt things, and you assumed that they meant I'm not good enough, or whatever it was, whatever the belief is. So, when I was 2 years old, daddy told me, you're not good enough. And I took that to mean I'm not good enough. I mean, it seems on the surface, seems logical enough. Daddy told me I'm not good enough. It must mean I'm not good enough. But does it really mean that? Does it really mean I'm not good enough? Daddy said I'm not good enough. Does that really mean I'm not good enough? Actually, no, it doesn't. All it means, the only thing it means is that daddy said those sounds. All it means. Maybe, when I was 5 years old, I worked on this drawing and I brought it into school, and the teacher's like, oh, that's so nice, Johnny. Here, let's just move along. And I took that to mean, oh, the teacher didn't think it was good enough. Therefore, I'm not good enough. That's what I thought it meant. But does it really mean that? No, it's just, I just saw something and that's it. That doesn't mean anything. And then the feelings, it's like, well, so I have a feeling, I get a sinking feeling, I get a crushing feeling, I get a hot feeling, a sweaty feeling, a cold feeling, chilly feeling, nauseous feeling. I get all these feelings, and I think that means I'm not good enough. Does it really mean I'm not good enough? No, it's just a feeling. Feelings are just sensations. That's it. So with that information, you can start to tease that apart for yourself. Like I said, if you really wanted to learn that in more detail as I teach it, I have those opportunities available. But with that information, that's the underpinnings. You can start to just explore that and just tease those things apart for yourself. You can just investigate with any belief that you have and just find out, what did I see? What did I hear? What did I feel that I thought meant whatever the belief is? And then just find out, did any of that actually mean what I thought it meant? When you can really truly see that none of it ever meant anything. It was just whatever it was. It was just some things you saw, some things you heard, and some things that you felt. Then you no longer have the belief.